A warm welcome to everyone who has joined us here. Please pay close attention as we address a very important matter, the developmental needs of young children. Some individuals believe that for children to thrive in this world, they just need love, a hug, or a kiss from their loved ones. But more is needed. So please join my colleagues and I as we will address what is required, where we are at, and how we can improve our holistic development as a Caribbean people.
Thank you, Taryn. Hello, everybody. Thank you so very much for having us. My name is Joanna Joseph, and my team and I, as Taryn said, will be addressing you today. To our specially invited guests, Mrs. Beverly White and Ms. Wendy Bano, I say welcome. We miss so much when it comes to early childhood education, and we as a people are so far from the appropriate mark. Today, I introduce you to hardworking women who have a passion for early childhood education. Their passion and dedication to promoting the developmental needs in early childhood is an important component of the lives of our children. Currently, they are completing their bachelor's degree in early childhood education and family studies at the University of the West Indies. And tonight, they will share with you key aspects of the developmental needs. And with further ado, it's a great pleasure to introduce to you Taryn Blackman, Nafisa Mohammed, Samantha Ada, Casey Hardin. To enjoy.
I am Nafisa Mohammed. I'm a teacher at an ECC center in Trinidad and Tobago. I would like you to dive in with me to learn a little bit about NECI. NECI is an organization that had started in 1926 in the United States of America. It means National Association for the Education of Young Children. So what is NECI? NECI is a steadfast organization that endorses higher education for our children from birth to the age of 8 years old. Their focus is on quality education, services, and practice at schools to ensure the holistic development of children. How can they achieve this? Well, by their standards will focus on curriculum that will encourage developmentally appropriate practices that will be implemented based on each child's age. Curriculum that will focus on the different needs of the child, and appropriate plans that will be used to cater for each child individual level. Partnership between teachers, families, community, and children. Partnership is very important and will benefit not only the school but our children. Assessment of the child's progress. Assessment will ensure children reaches their milestones and is relevant for achieving the child's progress. Staff development. NECI believes that ensuring teachers are equipped with not only knowledge but tools of growth and development. Physical environment. Physical environment is important to ensure safety, healthy, and is appropriate for children and teachers. Leadership and management. This promotes staff growth, team building, and model high standards of practice at schools.
So as Nafisa has rightly informed us, the NECI actually builds 10 guidelines for early childhood programs that can assist in selecting daycare facilities, preschools, and kindergartens. The NECI accreditation in the system for early childhood is similarly built on standards and criteria that we will hear about a bit later. During the 1970s, 80s, and 1990s, the government of the Caribbean began to take a more active role in the early childhood programming. They implemented a number of laws and rules and programs in an effort to give early childhood development and family studies the attention it rightfully deserved and needed. These efforts led to the 1997 adoption of the Caribbean Plan of Action for Early Childhood Education and Development that was led by CARICOM heads of government. By adopting the Caribbean Plan of Action, governments vowed to concentrate on the need for procedures and plans to complete 9 society priority sections. The following areas of attention are listed in the Caribbean Plan of Action for Early Childhood Care and Development. a legislative framework for coordinated provisions of services and monitoring of standards in the sector, integrated social planning and the implementation of initiatives, adequate financing, equitable access to quality provisions to minimize the plight of the large percentage of children in high-risk situations. Then we have education and training for all providers of early childhood education and development, appropriate curriculum development and materials towards improving the quality of early childhood education, care and development, increase parent and children awareness and involvement, coordinate actions at both regional and national levels, and multi-sectoral participation such as government, NGOs, and private sectors. And lastly, we have the increased research to improve development of the sector. Numerous investments have been made in the number of early childhood programs that are mushrooming, allowing the expansions of services for young children and their families. This may be seen in islands like Trinidad, Barbados, and Jamaica that have prioritized early childhood education. The administration of these islands have early childhood education objectives in their strategic plan. The Caribbean islands have reaffirmed their dedication to and promise of help for children approved by the Convention of the Rights of a Child in 1993. Professional early childhood education training was established at the Edison Teachers Training College by the government of Barbados in 1987. The government of Jamaica, Grenada, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines also established a competency-based certification system that served as the foundation for caregiving training. Therefore, this type accepted this competency-based certification, and it was offered as an elective component of high school and vocational training. The governments of Antigua and Barbuda supported early childhood practitioner training and development as well, and they set up early childhood education centers with the supervisors and staff to help with this task. So by the year 2000, the majority of governments had prioritized efforts to offer high quality education, early childhood education, and had put in place mandatory schooling beginning at the age of 5. Many nations have now transformed the education system using the Caribbean Plan of Action as a framework, placing a major emphasis on early childhood education, ECFS2001 Unit 6.
Let's look at the principle of growth and development policies. These policies are implemented at ECC centers in the Caribbean. These policies ensure that teachers are made aware of the appropriate practices that will aid in child's growth and development. When reviewing these principles of growth and development policies, we will emphasize on developmentally appropriate practices that demonstrate the progress of the education system in the Caribbean. Such practice is by using the domains of the child's development that ensures the holistic development of each child by including physical, social, emotional, and cognitive development at schools. Schools such as Serval and ECC centers in Trinidad and Tobago promotes this idea heavily. 2. The use of play as a learning tool. This caters for the growth and development of children. Play is an integral part of the curriculum that ensures active learning is taking place. Play is not only fun, but ensures learning is also taking place. The principle of play can be noted in the National Curriculum Guide in ECCE in Trinidad and Tobago. Play is developmentally appropriate for all ages. Teaching culture and social practices at schools. The implementation of teaching culture and social practices at school builds the child's experience and character. This increases awareness of population culture in each country, and it encourages appreciation of identity. This principle is also can be seen in the National Curriculum Guide in ECCE in Trinidad and Tobago through the promotion of strands such as citizenship and belonging. This principle will also allow children to be exposed to culture, diversity, and it builds better understanding of social practices in their community. Having active learners. The implementation of active learners is taking place by exposing children to environment around them. Henceforth, will allow children to have better understanding of their own world and its working around them. Active learners are actively engaged in developmentally appropriate activities throughout the day and at schools to learn skills and knowledge.
4 additional principles of child growth and development outlined in the developmentally appropriate practices document are: using interactive media and technology intentionally and responsibly can prove to be valuable tools in supporting children's learning and development. In this digital era, children are exposed to an extensive number of interactive media and technology. With the rapid changes in new technology, so does the knowledge of base of the effects on a child's learning and development also shifts. The COVID pandemic has caused us to appreciate that technology can be used effectively to engage children, give children control, and providing malleable scaffolds which can aid in supporting a child's learning and progressing in development and skills at their own pace. Providing challenges for children to achieve that goes beyond their master level will advance the children's learning and development. Putting on resources and strengths each child brings, educators can then create a rich learning environment which would encourage, stimulate, and help broaden every child's ability, skills, and interests. As children become comfortable and independent in using the learned skill and in a variety of situations, it begins to lay the foundation for the next level. When a child's learning environment cultivates a sense of purpose, agency, and belonging, a child is more inclined and motivated to learn. Seeing connections between the community and home can greatly impact a child, establishing psychological safety. Children's feelings of security and safety are crucial elements for the development of higher order thinking skills. Therefore, the sense of belonging is important as a brain building activity. Learning and development are powerful procedures that reflect the interaction between a child's environment and biological characteristics, which will both contribute to shaping future patterns of growth. Some children are more vulnerable to the effects of their environmental influence than others, whether negative or positive, also inclusive of individual differences at play. Children who are faced with trauma, adverse circumstances, are the buffering effects of consistent caring relationships in or outside of the early childhood program. Educators providing high-quality early childhood education contribute to a child's healthy development and resilience, which can overcome the negative impacts of chronic stress and unpleasant experiences.
Good afternoon, my name is Casey Harding, and I will be focusing on the standards of early childhood education 1 to 5. The National Association for Education of Young Children has set 10 standards to help families make the right choice when they are looking for a child care center. What is a standard? A standard may be defined as a repeatable, harmonized, agreed, and documented way of doing something. The first standard focuses on relationship. Building good relationship in early childhood years helps children connect with others and regulate their emotions. Children and teachers and staff engaged in a social, interactive environment will help children develop strong language skills, creativity, social intelligence, problem solving, and confidence. The NAEYC also focuses on the curriculum. A curriculum should be based on what is known about the child's development and learning for any given range. A curriculum guides teachers in determining these achievable goals, what knowledge, skills, and attitudes you want children to learn and develop. A curriculum describes a sequence, the what comes next for the child to learn and you to teach. so the next child moves closer to your intended learning outcome. It is noticeable that the curriculum within the Caribbean is used widely, as teachers use these prints to guide their planning. The teaching processes within the Caribbean are evolving. Teachers are moving away from using blackboard and talking and are presently creating lessons and activities that are more integrated and child-centered. Teachers must be aware of developing appropriate practices. These are methods that promote each child's best development and learning through a strength-based, play-based approach to joyful, engaged learning. Scaffolding. Scaffolding is how adults support children's development and learning by offering just the right help at the right time. Thoroughly designed learning environments in the classroom, especially within the Caribbean, are no longer the four walls of a veranda, but are now carefully structured to meet the needs of children. This may include providing children with a ramp for children who are disabled. If you fail to assess or observe, you will fail to plan. Assessment is a process of gathering information about a child, reviewing the information, and then using information to plan educational activities at the child's level. Assessment provides educators, parents, and families with critical information about a child's development and growth. Assessment provides record of growth in all developmental areas: cognitive, physical, motor, language, social, emotional, and approaches to learning. Identify children who may need additional support and determine if there is a need for intervention or support service. Studies have shown that quality early childhood development and education programs can play a key role in reducing the risk of healthy behaviors and preventing or delaying the onset of chronic diseases in adulthood. Early childhood development and studies are key determinants of future health and well-being. Improved principles within the Caribbean, teachers are required to be trained in PCR, encouraging healthy routines such as washing hands after using the bathroom and before eating. Encouraging parents to pack healthy snacks. This is evident in the Cayman Islands, as snack time in most schools entails fruits and water.
Standard 6. Staff competencies, preparation and support. The program will promote child development and learning. Staff will be trained academically by accredited institutes to obtain the specialized knowledge on young children's development, characteristics and needs. Staff will also gain the necessary knowledge to create warm, welcoming, healthy, supportive and engaging learning spaces. The staff will be able to observe and assess children using developmentally appropriate tools and approaches. They will be able to use the background cultural knowledge of each child to plan and engage students in learning experiences, create a meaningful curriculum that is built on content knowledge, appropriate early learning standards, and allow for inquiry learning. Standard 7. Families. This program will establish communication between families. Staff needs to identify and understand diverse families' characteristics. They will be able to engage in communication respectfully. Also, they will involve families in their child's development and learning experiences. Standard 8. Community relationship. Staff will have a good working relationship with the community stakeholders to ensure that they would welcome positive learning experiences for the children. They will also work together to provide support and assistance to any family that may be in need. Standard 9. Physical environment. Programs in the early childhood field are usually defined by many factors, and a very important factor is the physical environment. We ensure you that our facilities will be clean, safe, and welcoming to the children. The room setting is arranged for free movement. There is proper lighting, proper ventilation, and allows for supervision at any angle. There are also visual aids that will engage the children. The placement of health and safety tools are easily accessible in the event of an emergency or any accident. All materials and resources are age appropriate, and the use of both indoor and outdoor areas are also age appropriate, where safety measures will be practiced. Standard 10, Leadership and Management. The early childhood administrator will have the necessary educational qualifications in the specialized field of early childhood care and management. The Early Childhood Institute will be registered with the relevant educational ministries and follow the standards for regulations of the particular country. The institution will have a written policy along with the program's mission, design, and safety procedures.
Where and what are the gaps in meeting the developmental needs of our children? Although the Caribbean is a strong supporter of upholding the rights of the child in education, we cannot ignore the many problems plaguing our school system. For example, the lack of financial aid by government to provide materials to aid in the development and growth of children. Schools like in Jamaica. Private schools in Jamaica also display an absence of guidelines from the Ministry of Education. This research was done by UNICEF funded initiative in 1993 that observed that ECC sector lacked curricula and emphasized only on the social care of children with little or no emphasis of learning through play and stimulation. Another research done by Jones and Brown in 2001 discovered that half of the teachers were not properly trained and paid very little for their effort. Schools in Trinidad and Tobago was observed that knowledge that was learned was not put into practice into the classroom. This research was done by V. Cropper in 2013. We can also observe that many parents do not believe that children learn through play. Recommendation to these problems is as follows. Training must be easily accessible for educators, and programs such as the University of the West Indies and School of Continuation Studies and University of Open Campus can be used to ensure that proper training for our future students in the education field. Such example is an alliance with University of the West Indies, which become involved in training of early childhood and education teachers and teachers on the whole. Serval in the Caribbean also paved the way for a healthy professional program in the field of ECCE. This research was found in early childhood survey conducted by High Scope Research Foundation in 1995 by Fergus and Bernard in 2007. It is also important for the government of each country to ensure that their schools are given grants and is supported with financial aid. Recommendations that can help these problems are that Ministry of Education in each Caribbean country must be responsible for monitoring all private and public schools, daycare, ECC centers, primary schools, secondary schools, to ensure quality education is provided for our population. A strict process of evaluation, monitoring, and delivery must be adhered to for the quality service that they need to provide. Furthermore, parents must be educated through workshops and to participate in ECC centers, so better appreciation of the true working of NECE standards and principles at schools can be understood. By educating our parents on the importance of learning through play, parents will understand how children learn and will understand their developmental process. Thank you for attending our conference, and I hope this information was useful to you.